All right. Thank you so much for staying with Daybreak. This is the Bulls and Bears segment. Before we get into other conversations, let's deal with the Mwananchi budget. That's what we are calling it, just to understand how to survive during these COVID-19 times. And joining me now is the CEO of Centonomy, Waithaka Gatumia, is with me on Skype. So what he's going to do, we're going to use a base figure of 100,000 for the Mwananchi budget, and I have my whiteboard here. So he's going to break it down for you, tell you how much you should be spending on rent, food, and several other issues. All right. So Waithaka is here. So Waithaka, I'm trying to do the math here. I was never really very good at math, but let's try and see.
Don't worry. I'm here to help, Trevor.
Yes. So
First of all, thank you so much for having me, but I'm not used to speaking to people at this time in the morning, so excuse my voice if you don't mind.
That's good, sir. So I have a base figure of 100,000, right?
Okay.
Okay. So this is 100,000 shillings. That's what you earn at the end of the month.
Yes.
Okay. So what should my expenditure look like?
Wow, that's a good question. There is no formula for what it should look like. However, you should base the discussion and the planning for your expenditure on what you want to achieve. Okay. At Centonomy, we never speak about percentages because for different households, there are different responsibilities and different expectations. And so it is about what you want to achieve. However, Trevor, I know that not many people have started off like that and have worked on percentages in the past, and it's about trying to correct that kind of thinking. The second thing is, Trevor, when you put 100,000 shillings on the screen, that is a large amount of money. You know that most Kenyans are not even at that level. Mm-hmm. And so many times when you say 100,000 shillings for many households, that is the total joint income, for instance, from two individuals in that household. That's essentially what you talk about as a middle-class family in this country. Yeah. But you'd find a lot more are surviving on a lot less. But so let's look at this 100,000, if you don't mind, Trevor, for just a second. Yeah. What we have found from research, so this is not our recommendation. Let's just be clear about that. Mm-hmm. From our research, we found that on average, the middle class who are earning that 100,000 or so as a household are spending about 30% on housing. Okay. This is most likely a family with children. And so when you include food and school expenses, when you put those two together, food, when you take about household shopping and schooling, it's another 30%.
So wait, I want to break this down. So
that's all right. Go ahead.
One step at a time. So now we have 100,000. So 30% of this goes to what exactly?
Housing. Yes, but that is our research, not our recommendation. And I'll explain in a bit. Okay. Yes.
So if this is housing will entail what and what?
All costs that go towards housing. So you think about it as rent, probably some electricity and utility bills in there. Yeah. Slightly more when you start including other things, other costs that go into the house, but the general costs that go into that house. Okay. So we're already at 30,000.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's 30,000 shillings.
Yes.
So you have another 70 to work with.
Correct. And remember now this person is earning, no, it's not 70 to work with. You need to, Trevor, on that right-hand side of the board next to the 100,000, you need to write now what is the amount that it is this person is being taxed at 25%. Yeah. And so you need to write how much they are actually taking home. That's at the top there, so write 75,000. Because remember that 100,000 is now being taxed. Mm-hmm. So we started not with 100, but 75. Okay. Yes.
So that's the base figure we're working with.
That's now where we are. Okay. Good. Now we move on to a household shopping. Mm-hmm. This family, it's most likely going to be a family with 1 or 2 children by now at that level. Yeah. And so you're talking about household shopping plus the schooling costs going up close to 30% as well.
So another 30% for
household shopping. Because many people do not separate food. You know, like when you go to the supermarket, you don't buy unga on a separate budget than you do, for instance, your soap that we're using now to wash our hands. So all that becomes household shopping. Okay. And schooling. So and schooling below that. The costs that go, because these are usually younger children. at this level.
Uh-huh.
So you can put in another 30,000 there.
Okay.
I hope, Trevor, you can see where we are, what we have left from where we started.
I have 15,000 left.
You see what we're talking about?
Yes.
This person usually has, in Kenya, we are spiritual people and we're giving people. So there's spiritual giving and charities. And on average, we see about 10% that goes towards that. Spiritual giving and charities, about 10% on that. So spiritual giving and charity. So we're talking about this is outside of our family, outside of our community, direct community. So goes about 10%.
Yeah.
So remember, that's now another 10,000 or so.
Yes. I have 5,000 left.
See where we are, Trevor?
Yes.
We have not, this is the problem with the way that we do budgeting here. And it becomes problematic, as you can see. So if we go on, another major area of giving is now our direct community. This is supporting family members, supporting extended family members, because this person who's earning 100,000 is supporting more than just their family.
Yeah.
So often that adds to another 10% or so.
But I'm already at 5,000, so I'm already at a negative right now. But I don't know how far I can go with this.
Trevor,
so
you see our problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But imagine people still spend.
So then, how do you then bridge this gap? Because it's about to get more complicated here.
Just continue. Don't worry. I'm not confused yet.
Okay.
I've not lost you. You're with me.
So I'm at negative 5,000 now.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
We have not done transport.
Okay.
So we say another 10% usually on transport costs for most families, on average between 5 and 10% depending.
Okay.
So, but on the top end, especially this person, if they're at 100,000, maybe, possibly, considering some other form of transport. So look, that's another 10K.
Okay.
Okay. And one major other, possibly that we can talk about here as an expense is entertainment, which on average, again, you get between 5 and 10%. Most people will tell you 5, but we have discovered 10. But just put 5 for the sake of this discussion. Do 5.
10
Sorry,
or 5%.
5. Yes, so use 5 for this discussion.
Okay.
So Trevor, how do we manage this? How did we get there? Because this is how we live, and I'm sure you can tell this is what usually happens.
Yeah.
This is how we live. Trevor, if I am earning that amount of money and I'm spending that amount, where am I getting the extra amount? Where does it come from?
So I'm at negative 20,000 here.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we then bridge that amount?
That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you, Trevor, can you think, what is it that is usually covering that amount?
Yeah.
Is it not debt? This is why the mobile loan applications exploded in this country, because we essentially live beyond our means. So you can imagine now, if this person who was earning 100,000 gets a pay cut and it goes to 50,000, even half 50%, can you imagine the turmoil that this household goes through?
Yeah.
Please note that on your board, we don't have any savings, do we?
No.
We don't have any investment. And Trevor, you didn't make noise at me and said, where? You didn't. You could have told me. But I can tell, Trevor, because you didn't shout at me, that it's not a major point in our minds as Kenyans on this point. So here is what we recommend here at Centonomy. One of the things that maybe you can turn over the page, because I'm going to now give you what we honestly believe. The best way to break this down is to use what we call the ABCs of budgeting.
Okay.
And this is a tool that you can find for free on our web pages and even on our social media handles. The ABCs of budgeting.
Yeah.
Because it's so important to break that down. What we have found is that we budget not based on what we have, but on what we think. That's how we usually do that.
Yeah.
But what we are suggesting at Centonomy is budget on what you have first, And the only way to do that is right number one there, Trevor, track your expenses. I will sing this song until you get tired of it, Trevor, because I'm telling you, it saves many households.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Track your expenses. Because you will be surprised where that money goes.
Yeah.
If you track your expenses and find that you have overspent in a specific area, you're able then to adjust and be able to say, wow, if I'm spending 15,000 shillings in an area that I did not understand, why not go the other way? Okay. So Trevor, watch this. You know, on what you have on the other side, this person earning 100,000 shillings from our research, they usually think they are spending about 15,000 shillings on household shopping. You remember that first one that we have there?
Yes.
That's what they think. When you ask them the first time, how much do you spend? They'll say about 15,000 shillings. But when we get them to actually track for a month, you remember that's the milk that you go to the kiosk next door, the loaf of bread that you get every day. They usually track that big shopping that they go to the big supermarket for and spend 15,000, but they don't include those daily trips to the kiosk to get milk and bread.
Okay.
So they find now suddenly there's 15,000 shillings that I didn't know where it was going. How do I redirect it?
Yeah.
So the first point as we went to the other side is track your expenses, because when you track it, then you can make real-time decisions. Okay?
Yes.
The second thing, once you have tracked your expenses, is to now allocate where does this expense fall. Let's go to A. A stands for essential expenses, okay? A is essential expenses. What does that mean? You need them to live.
Yeah.
Let me explain first of all. So an A expense means if I don't have it, life becomes difficult. That means I need a place to live, I need to eat, and I probably need healthcare and schooling. Those are essentials. Okay? But watch this, Trevor. Trevor, if when I got married, we were living in a 2-bedroom apartment with my sweetheart.
Yeah.
And it was just the two of us, and we were using one bedroom. What was the other bedroom for? I don't know. We never really had too many guests living with us all the time. So when we say A expenses for living, that house was probably too big for 2 people. So not all housing expenses are A. You may be in a 3-bedroom apartment that's costing you 30,000 shillings. Maybe if you're lucky, this isn't even a 3-bedroom apartment, you're in 2-bedroom, but you need one in order to live. So not all A expenses. Food, for instance. You need food to live. But Trevor, I'm telling you, when you go out to that fast food restaurant, that is not an A expense. That is entertainment. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we must break down what an A expense is. B, let's go to B. B expenses are... B expenses are important, but not essential. Important, but not essential. Let me give you an example, Trevor.
Yeah.
We are all trying to be encouraged to keep fit, but we can't go to the gym. The gym is a very good thing. It's important to go, isn't it?
Yes.
It's very important to go and to be fit. But imagine now we have not been able to go, but you can walk around your house. You can skip in front of the TV. You can do press-ups. So it was important, but not essential. Hair care. So many of us, for many weeks, Trevor, were not able to go to the salon or the barber shop. Imagine we lived, we survived.
Yeah.
So hair care is not essential for life. Imagine you can survive.
Yeah. And
when you're able to identify those important but not essential costs, like going to the gym, going to the salon, going to the barber shop, even like if you drive a car, your car is important because it's a status symbol. It gets you comfortably to your workplace or wherever it is you're going. But imagine you can be able to take public transport. You used to anyway before you got that car.
Yeah.
So that car is important, but not
essential.
Okay. The last one is C. C expenses.
Yeah.
C expenses. C expenses are everything else. If it is not essential,
it falls under
C. And it's not important, then it's everything else. Everything else falls there.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Now, when you are able to separate your expenses into A, B, C's of budgeting, now you can make some choices.
Okay.
After tracking your expenses, you know the truth. So here's the thing. If you come into a tough time like during now COVID-19, and you know your A, B, C's, very quickly, for instance, if your expenses, if your income was cut in half, or maybe even for some very tough 25% or even zero, you can immediately say remove all C expenses because they were very clear to you, and even some of the B expenses.
Okay.
Because, as I said, like now, for instance, I've not been to the barber for many years. I cut my own hair at the house because this hairstyle is not very complicated, Trevor. You just need a set of clippers and you just do like this, and it's gone. Done. I don't need to go to the barber shop. Now, if you can be able to cut that, that means that with the little that you have, you can stretch it for a much longer period of time.
Okay.
Let me speak now to those who are making more money. Do you know, Trevor, that there are people making more money now than they were before COVID?
This is also true, yes.
Because you are being taxed beforehand at 30%. Now you're being taxed at 25%. So there's even a few extra shillings in your pocket. Here's what the power of the ABC budget does. When you know that, then you can make choices about your investment for your future.
Okay.
So if you find more of your income that you can be able to stretch, this is an amazing time for investments.
Okay.
Let me speak to you who your job has not been compromised. In fact, maybe you even there are companies giving out bonuses today, Trevor.
Yes, I am aware.
I'm speaking to those people, and I'm saying right now, this is a perfect time to be investing because it is a buyer's market right now. Things are on discount because of the pressure that's out there. And the good thing about that is that as we pump more money into the economy, it also helps other businesses to grow. Now, listen very carefully because, sometimes people get me wrong. Make sure that you are still budgeting. I'm not saying go out and become irresponsible. But I'm saying if you have not been significantly affected, please do as you used to on budget. Buy some takeout food because that keeps that restaurant open.
Okay.
If you used to, pay for that television subscription because that keeps Trevor employed.
All right.
That's what we are talking about. So there are two types of people: those who have been severely affected and those who are even doing better now. And the ABCs of budgeting still assist this person to be able to go. So let's go back to that girl of 100K. And I just show you real quick.
Very briefly on this.
No problem. So if this person was on 100K and they know their ABCs, their A's and B's were worth maybe probably 60,000. That means that even if they have gone down to 50,000 bob, 50% of their income, they can cut out a few of the B expenses and all of the C expenses, and you're able to move.
All right. Waithaka Gatumia, thank you so much for that breakdown. This is the Mwananchi budget we're showing you. As the CEO Centonomy just gave you a free lesson there. Thank you so much for this. And it's important to note that most families don't even get this kind of money. 100,000 shillings is quite on the higher side. Now you can see how this works out. And it's clearly said at the end of the day, we have almost a 20,000 shillings deficit. And this is where people start borrowing. But it's also mentioned that this is how... Yes. and that essentially also, Waithaka, that now then means that you're stuck in debt almost forever now because it's it's like a domino effect, all right? So exactly. So he's saying you stick to the ABCs, all right? Make sure that you have A, which is the essential expenses, B, important but not really essential, and C, everything else. So start with cutting out the everything else as you work your way up so that you can save a little bit more money, right? Waithaka Gatumia, thank you so much for that brief lesson for us. It's been the Mwananchi budget.